get a free adjustable base with select Sealy Posturepedic mattresses. For the great sleep you deserve, visit Mattress Firm. We make sleep easy. Restrictions apply. See store or website for details.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome to Choose Views with Richard Chew. Get ready to dive into a world of insightful conversations and thought-provoking discussions.
As progressives, our job is to have an all-inclusive, full-on assault with all of our players.
A show that focuses on moving our political, social, economic, gender, and cultural conversation forward.
And all of our players means all of our players.
It's Choose Views. And now, here's your host, Richard Chew.
Good Wednesday morning, progressives, and welcome to the February 25th, 2026 edition of Choose Views, 773-763-9278. Find my show on Facebook Live, TuneIn Radio, YouTube. Of course, email me at richard@WCPT820.com and follow me on all the socials from Spoutable to X to Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Blue Sky, Threads, Substack. And I finally got through some emails, Henry. Golly, I was behind. Yesterday I responded to a heap of emails, a lot. So thanks. Sorry it took me some time, guys, but thanks for emailing me and letting me know your thoughts about things and suggestions and all that. They do resonate. So don't think that they fall on deaf ears. I promise you they don't. Catch all of our shows by subscribing to our WCPT podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. There you can get Choose Views, featured interviews, Joan Esposito, live, local, and progressive. Patty Vasquez driving you home. It's the Democracy Stupid with Edwin Eisendrath. And, of course, our wonderful shows on the weekends, Out Chicago, and our other shows and interviews throughout the course of the day. In the evening, you got all of our other programming, so make sure you're checking all those shows out. Jody Hamilton and the Politics Bar. Jody's going to be hanging out with us on Friday, so that's going to be fun. You could give us a call this morning. We try to squeeze you in before our guest because we got a busy morning, as always. But make your way over to heartlandsignal.com. I'm just going to tell you a bunch of stuff there. Lots of good stuff from our interviews with Representative Lauren Underwood to Representative Jake Auchincloss, and the list goes on. Things for you to share with your peeps. On today's show, we have Gloria Walton, who is with Climate Solutions. It's going to be interesting talking with her. It's really getting into the Solutions Project and what the NAACP is doing during Black History Month and beyond when it comes to climate awareness in all communities, but certainly communities of color and specifically Black communities. She'll be with us in the 6:30 hour. Our good friend Kurt Mullett from Hoosier Blue 63 will be joining us at 7. And I know he and I could chop it up and have some fun. And then the train just keeps running, Henry. We got Kristen Crowell, who will be with us. As you guys know, Kristen, formerly Fair Share America, is the executive director of a new organization that they put together called Families Over Billionaires. So Kristen did a cool event on Monday evening, sort of a prequel to the State of the Union, which I thought was really cool that she put this together. Obviously, I wanted to be there, but unfortunately couldn't make it. But that being said, Kristen will be with us in the 7:30 hour, and we will chat about the success of her event. Just a quick shout out to musical great Roberta Flack, who passed away yesterday. And, if you don't know who Roberta Flack is, you're either, well, you should know. I'll just put it in the positive. Great songstress, great songwriter, great producer, legendary, years and years and years. Probably one of her most known songs is The Closer I Get to You. And so the music that she's been a part of is, as I like to say, you live long enough in the industry, you're going to have something that impacts somebody's life. And she impacted millions of people's lives. It's one of the greatest love songs of all time. It crosses all genres in terms of what your favorite music is like. You could be a hard metal, heavy metal, punk rocker, and that song, if you know your stuff, you're gonna play that song at some point because it's a truly romantic song, and it is one that crosses all languages as well. So just love to her family, and all the good vibe that we can send to her family. She was one of those great ones, and we were blessed and so fortunate to have her as one of America's greatest singers, songstresses, and producers, and just good American. In this month of Black history and American history, she was one of our great Americans. So just wanted to give that to her and her legacy. I sent a text to someone this morning, and I said, "What an $SH $T show the State of the Union was last night." I didn't watch it. Mike's back there like pulling his hair out. I didn't watch it. I didn't watch the rebuttal from Governor Spanberger either. And the main reason is there's nothing that Democrats could say. I mean, as much as there's a lot of repeating that went on. I've caught a bunch of clips this morning. I got up earlier a little bit to kind of look at some things. I kind of knew what was going to be the case. I mean, you could only say so much. The rebuttals are always, they're okay, but there you go. So I didn't have a big expectation from her to come in and take away the moment for first and foremost, because the length of time of the State of the Union, irrespective of the president, is always going to be pretty long. And when it comes to Mr. Doo-Doo Face, Orange Menace, it's going to be even worse. And that was the case last night. So I had no desire to watch it. And even the temptation, like Henry, like, oh, maybe I should go turn it on. That, I ain't even do that. Because we know that it was an $SH $T show. And some of the clips that I did catch and things that I have looked at were some of the highlights that I wanted to get a bit of a better take on. And those were surrounding how he was going to treat the Democrats that did show up and to treat the members of the Supreme Court. So, there you go. There's a lot of questions I could ask. So when, over the years, when that one idiot said to President Obama, "You lie," the speaker didn't request for the sergeant at arms to remove him, which he should have, and President Obama could have, given the nod. I think at the time was who was the speaker in his first term? Was it Kevin Ryan? Well, not Kevin Ryan. Paul Ryan. Was he speaker then? I can't remember. No, John Boehner. It was John Boehner, I think, in his first. So, because we didn't have I can't remember. Either way, whether it was Boehner in the first term, Paul Ryan, or Nancy Pelosi, whomever, they didn't ask for that person to be removed. And that was truly disruptive. It was John Boehner? It was Nancy Pelosi. It was Pelosi in his first term? Okay, so Pelosi didn't ask him to the sergeant of arms to remove this dude. Should have. She didn't. He was truly disruptive to the speech itself. And then, in subsequent times, the Speaker of the House could have asked for, whether it be a Democrat or Republican speaker, could have asked for Marjorie Taylor Greene and Miss Handjob in a Theater, also known as Lauren Boebert, to, be removed. But he didn't. Mike's tilted over in the back there because I can say that. That's not a. That's okay. They would have beat me. But that's who she is, Mike. I mean, come on, man. Again, Mike blushing and Henry's blushing a little bit too. It's like, oh my God, Richard stepped out of character. What is wrong? What's in his coffee? But they didn't ask them to leave. They didn't have the sergeant of arms take them out or escort them out. But let Brother Al Green have a sign that says black folks are not apes. And he gets taken out. So you all can read between the tea leaves all you want to on that. But I know what time of day it is. I keep a watch on my arm. I look at the clock and I check the one on my phone. I always know what time of day it is. And I speak to it differently depending on, what I have to speak to. However, Representative Green was right. We all may descend from a version of primates in one capacity, but that doesn't give the president of the United States intentionally or accidentally or at any foolishness the permission, the right to post what he posted on Mr. and Mrs. Obama, President and Michelle Obama. Doesn't. But that being said, Al Green got removed because of that. So, fine. Fine. All right. So here's the deal. I said this yesterday, and I still stand on this. There are people that said that the Democrats should not have even have shown up, and many did not. And some of the Supreme Court justices didn't show up, Henry. They were like, nah, I'm going out for pizza and a salad. I got something else to do. This fool, I've stayed with him, but nah. This is what would have been, as I said yesterday, Henry, a concerted effort that really would have put him, I think it would have put him in a little bit of a box where he would have, because he's such a petulant child, he can't resist. I said yesterday that what would have been cool is if the Dems had organized themselves in this way where they all showed up, all House and all Senate showed up, but showed up with placards that said, the Supreme Court said no, Donald. He would have, and held them up every time for the entire, walked in that way. Walked in like processional into a Baptist church with signs that said, the Supreme Court said no, Donald, and then sat there and held those bad boys up, Mike, during his speech, right? He doesn't have the discipline to not have said something about it. And if he had said something about it, he would have been put in a situation where he would have had to confront the Supreme Court justices that were sitting right in front of him and look at them and look at the Dems. There's nothing that he would have been able, he just doesn't have the discipline. To me, when you're going to use optics, that's how you use optics. Because they aren't going to, what were they going to do? I shout out to Representatives Omar and, why am I drawing a blank on her name? In Michigan that spoke out. I can't, why is my brain freezing up? I don't want to look away. Representatives Omar and, in any event, they spoke up. They pushed back. But at the end of the day, nothing about coming together, nothing about working together, nothing, and so to that end, no, it'll come to me. Tom Berry? Tom Berry? No, she's, oh gosh, it's killing me. But that's what was going on last night. It was an opportunity, if he had chosen to say some things that would have tried to be a uniting force and voice in the country. And he didn't. But that being said, the Democrats' position is what it is, and they couldn't do much more for those that did show up. But I just thought, I thought it would have been nice to have a handful of placards and just say, Donald, the Rashida Tlaib. I knew it would come to me. The Supreme Court said no, dude. They said no. You gotta know from who you like to call your justices. So, all right, guys, let's take a quick break. 773-763-9278. You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT, AM 820 in Chicago, and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, this is Tara Devlin for the Political Voices Network. This is America, right? We don't do kings here. No crowns, no thrones, no authoritarian cosplay. That's why we created the No Kings American Flag pin. For the low price of $20.26, that's 2026, we're keeping our eye on the prize here. This well-crafted enamel pin is the standard 1-inch American flag lapel pin. But this one features the patriotic No Kings symbol that defines our rallying cry. It's your quiet way of signaling to other patriots that you believe in democracy, and yeah, that still matters. You can grab yours now at store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. That's store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com. The No Kings American Flag pin. Get it now at store.politicalvoicesnetwork.com.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Welcome back to Chew's Views with Richard Chew.
Yes. Welcome back, guys, and thanks for hanging out with us this morning. Shout out to Lois. Lois said, Henry, she said, Richard, I didn't watch it because I wanted to get a good night's rest, so I didn't want to. I didn't watch the State of the Union. I'm glad I didn't. I slept much better than if I had watched it. Right on to that, Lois. And then got another one. 872 says it was disrespectful that Representative Al Green was removed, and this is just becoming more and more of a, like I said, doo-doo show. Let's see what else we got here. 847 says, thanks, Richard, for that senior moment. I feel better about myself. Hell yeah. I have them all the time. And I don't run away from them. It's like I'm not running away from my age. Why am I going to do that? Trying to pretend like I'm younger than. I'm glad I'm about to turn the next age, and I'm going to turn. Oh, here's one. I knew I'd get folks wound up this morning. Check this one out, Mike. They all should have walked in with Donald wigs on. Oh, that would have been tight too. Donald wigs. Everybody walked in with the Donald wig and a sign that says the Supreme Court told me no. Wow. Mike, Henry, they got to listen to us regular folk. Thanks, 630 for that one. Let's grab a quick call, Henry. Let's do that this morning. Good morning, Jim, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Rich. That was brutal, absolutely brutal. But the Republicans on the plus side, he didn't spontaneous combust right on the podium. So that was a break. That was a break. But to see how America could come to this place.
Yeah.
In my 75 years, I never thought I'd see a pedophile, thief. And the same day NPR has evidence he's with a 13-year-old girl. He's jumped into stalls with women, raped them. I mean, how could this guy be president of the United States?
Yeah.
And those two morons behind him.
Oh, I know.
Mike Johnson and the other nitwit that sell his soul to the devil for $50. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Where are they going with this act? Where are they? I mean, prior to 2025, it's been a nightmare so far. How many people have we got? Innocent people in prisons. How many prisons are we building?
Yeah, Jim.
I mean, seriously, the Catholic Church was sued for billions of dollars for pedophilia.
Yeah.
These people aren't paying a dime. Trump hasn't paid a dime for his pedophilia.
Jim, I've said this since the beginning of the year when I read a report on who was involved in terms of business dealings and stuff that's come out of Russia and Israel, just calling it as it is. I think that part of what's happened here, and one of the reasons that the people that are not being outed are not being outed, and those that are, is that money laundering is a big part of this. There's an undercurrent of money laundering that's taking place here, and because not enough people are talking about that, and you got too many moneyed up people who don't produce a damn thing. They don't manufacture anything. They don't make anything. But suddenly their wealth is increased by 10, 20, 30, 40, 50%.
Well, Rich, the two pinches in England are both financial dealings. He's selling financial secrets to Epstein. For what reason, God only knows. Now, these people are criminals, but the point is they have enough money to capitalize on the crime.
Yep.
In other words, you're selling them financial secrets of their own government, whoever, what's going to go up, what's going to go down. But the people that get take advantage are the people with money, with large amounts of money. Greedy thieves. These are really greedy thieves. I mean, I lived in Chicago all my life. I'll take a regular, just run-of-the-mill thief over these people any day of the week. They're more honorable. These people are. I'm serious. They can't get enough money.
Hey Jim, check it out. You and I are Chicagoans to the core. We'll take a neighborhood Stick them up, man, because at least
over this group, any day of the week, I'll have a drink with them any day of the week. This group is, they're dealing in flesh.
Yeah.
They're dealing in secrets, government secrets, and you're stealing from every citizen on earth.
Yeah. I know.
And I don't think look at Trump. What has Trump got? About $4 billion stashed away already, or maybe $10 billion, probably. And then, what about the war on science?
Yeah,
the war on climate change, the war on medicine, the war on every kind of science. Every poor guy goes to school and studies is behind off for. They're saying it doesn't exist.
It's crazy.
Anyway, what a 2 hours of torture. Anyway, have a good morning. But but we'll kill him. We'll kill him in the midterms.
Deep breath, Jim. Deep breath, because we need you around for this fight, man. Take a deep breath. All right, Jim.
All right, well, yeah, take care.
All right, love you. Bye. Oh Lord, Jim is 75 years. Wow, Jim's ready to take the gloves off. I do. I love me some Jim. I just got another great text that said the Dems should have worn Obama wigs. Ooh, Mike Henry, can you imagine if all the Dems had worn Obama wigs? Mm-hmm. Wow, that would have been crazy. Wow. But see, this is what I believe we have to do in this space. What he did last night, and again, I didn't watch it, but I caught enough clips, and I've made a point of checking out enough stuff. Gave me a sense of what it was all about, and I didn't want to put myself through that torture because I just didn't want to. I'd rather, like Lois, I got a good night's sleep as a result of not watching it because I know I would have been cursing and screaming and all the other stuff. But yeah, Obama wigs would have been great. Oh, that man, oh man. Or what could have been really cool, and I'm going even deeper on this, is if they had worn in like Obama wigs, Hillary wigs, Pelosi wigs. Well, it could be Pelosi because she's still in the mix, but worn Obama and Hillary wigs. Wow. Or what would have? No, that would have been awful. I'm gonna stop. I'm going off the rails on it. I can't do that. Let's hit them with a couple quick Choose Views news before we get to this break. All right, the fastest growing skills that pay off for professionals, from AI engineering to communication. LinkedIn Skills on the Rise list highlights the fastest growing skills that professionals should invest in to get ahead in today's world of work. Our list surface emerging opportunities based on the areas that professionals are increasingly prioritizing and getting hired right now. Skills focused on AI engineering and AI business strategy made the cut alongside softer skill sets in executive communication and people management. Let me tell y'all something that will coming up and into the workforce and in it now. Work on those executive communication and people management skills. I'm telling you, that's going to be as strong as you knowing AI. It will be, because somebody's got to talk about it, present it, and make sure that it's understandable. NBC's Winter Olympics viewership hit a 12-year high. The Olympics were certified at the highest ratings. The network's coverage of the 2026 games averaged 23 million viewers across Comcast broadcast network and streaming platforms. Its highest total in 12 years and nearly double the audience from 2022 in Beijing. The Peacock streaming service also had its best month ever. NBC capitalized on nonstop drama from Lindsey Vohn's devastating crash to Alyssa Liu's a shocking figure skating win to Megan Keller and Jack Hughes scoring golden goals to defeat Canada in their respective hockey finals. The men and the women showed out. FedEx files suit against the U.S. seeking tariff refunds. What did I say the governors should do? All the governors. I said this yesterday. FedEx has become one of the first major American corporations to sue the U.S. government seeking reimbursements from the Trump administration's global tariffs. The shipping giant's 11-page complaint says the company is seeking a, quote, full refund of duties incurred plus interest. The move follows a Supreme Court ruling that deemed most of the tariffs illegal. Although the suit does not note the exact financial hit incurred, FedEx said in September it expected its annual earnings to suffer a $1 billion hit due to the existing trade policies from the U.S. Last but not least, Home Depot flags a bumpy road ahead for the economy. They issued the statement on Tuesday. It's a mixed bag of earnings. In their reports, the home improvement retailer posted a 4% sales decline in the fourth quarter. while beating expectations on revenue and earnings. Yet, it expects the year ahead to be a subdued one as the real estate market remains, quote, frozen, in the words of the CFO, Richard McPhail, and shoppers that are getting increasingly choosy with their spending. Home Depot's success, or otherwise, is often considered a bellwether of the health of a broader economy. That's because if we're building and people are spending money on their homes, that's where a lot of that comes from. All right, y'all, let's take a quick break. The number is 773-763-9278. You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT, AM 820 in Chicago and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM. I'm Richard Chu. We'll be right back.
Robin Kelly grew up behind the register in her dad's grocery store. So she knows what it means when the same groceries cost more each week. Under Donald Trump, corporations get tax breaks, loopholes, and a green light to price gouge. Families get higher grocery bills, higher childcare costs, high healthcare premiums. It's Trump's economy. Corporate profits first, people last. In Congress, Robin Kelly's been fighting back. Robin took on insurance companies to lower drug costs. She wrote the law extending Medicaid for new moms to a full year because cutting care after 60 days was just wrong. And now Robin Kelly is running for Senate with a people over profits agenda. Medicare for all, so healthcare isn't a ripoff. Cap on childcare costs so families can work. And crack down on corporate price gouging so you're not punished at every turn. People over profits. Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate.
I'm Robin Kelly, Democrat running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Robin Kelly for Senate.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. We'll see mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the mid-30s. Winds out of the northwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 25. And for tonight, partly cloudy with a low near 23. By Thursday, we'll see some sunshine, a high of 42 degrees. And Friday, plenty of blue skies and sun, a high of 59. Saturday, chance for rain and snow mixing late, a high around 40. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 27.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Welcome back to Choose Views with Richard Chu.
Welcome back, guys, and thanks for being with us this morning, and thanks for being with us all this week. Black History Month represents a lot of things to all of us, especially when we look at the impact of African-American community on our country. It's American history. It's world history, frankly, and we should all embrace it. A friend of mine said this to me years ago, guys. He said, if you don't have a black friend, go find one. And but to that end, go find a friend of another culture, no matter who you are. Go get with somebody that's not part of your comfort zone. I mean, that's really ultimately how we grow. And during this month, one of the things that this week particularly we've had the opportunity to do is to talk to people who understand the importance of connecting with people in other communities, but also how important that is to understanding our climate. You know, a lot of times people think that, you know, that the climate issues are just in one part of the country. They're not. They're all over. It's climate issues. It's not, you know, the climate in a particular state or a neighborhood. But some suffer more than others. Some have climate injustice. And earlier this week, we talked with Aubrey Conner, who's the Director of Environmental and Climate Justice at the NAACP. Today, we have the ability to keep the train moving, and we have another great guest with us who is the president and CEO of the Solutions Project. Gloria Walton is with us this morning. Good morning, Ms. Walton, and welcome to Choose Views on WCPT in Chicago.
Hey, Richard. Good morning, and thanks for having me. And glad to hear you have my sister Aubrey on here, too. I didn't realize that.
What's he talking about? Yes, we did. We had, yeah, see, I get, I know a couple
good
of things.
People doing good work, you know?
Listen, let me tell you, thank you for saying that, because Mike and Henry are here this morning in studio. Our people do great work, and we're blessed to have such a phenomenal team. Our producers, Andy, you know, Matt, Mark, Lady B, all these folks that are part of our team, they make it happen. And having people on like you understand the importance of partnership, because you couldn't do what you do without having the skill set to build good partnerships and keep them. But Gloria, take a moment and let our audience know all over the country a little bit more about you, kind of your career and how you got to this place as president and CEO of the Solutions Project. And tell us a little bit about the Solutions Project as well.
Okay. So first, I definitely want to thank you and your team. Just everything that you said, like you said, I empathize with. I hope you're well. I hope your people are well. Like, these are times that I feel like, we're all navigating these turbulent and unpredictable times together these days. And it's important to check in on each other and from a human level. Yep. You know what I mean? So I'm just sending love and care to everybody. So, a little bit about me, my story, my organization, the Solutions Project. And first I'll talk about the Solutions Project. And essentially, we are an organization that's committed to advancing solutions, but not just any solutions that are led by women and communities of color across this country. And the reason that we try to make sure that we are supporting resourcing and amplifying those communities is because these are the communities that are often disproportionately left behind, ignored, not at the center of the table, even though they're disproportionately impacted by the problems and conditions that many of us are living with and starting to see today. So what I do is fundraise. What my team does, we fundraise from donors, people from the community, foundations. We try to galvanize the resources necessary to move to the front lines because they're the ones who are advancing climate solutions that benefit all of us. And we also try to make sure we're amplifying their solutions, amplifying their stories, because these are groups that are doing the work, even if they don't always get the shine. So for us, it's making sure that they actually get the shine. And that can look like helping make connections around getting them on a radio show like WCPT. It could be getting on television, a major news platform. We work with celebrity partners as well who are all about climate justice and want to share their platforms with the leaders on the ground doing the work. So that's what we do at Solutions Project. We fund and resource movements led by women and people of color, and these are movements that are organizing, they're mobilizing, they're building power in their neighborhoods, and they're advancing climate solutions that benefit all of us. And we just help to shine a light on that work so that we can actually take control of our own narratives and amplify our stories from our voice and our vantage point. And like you said, it's Black History Month and it's Black Climate Week. And so I'm excited to be here with you today to celebrate that. Then just to share a little bit.
No, you go. You got the mic.
Yeah, so just to share a little bit about my story, some top lines. I actually started with boots on the ground in South Central Los Angeles, also known as South LA. And I was an organizer and a community organizer, and I did that work for nearly 20 years. And this is important to me because, I think experience is kind of like the best teacher. And I was someone who grew up in poverty, and, I was born in Mississippi, partially raised there, but also partially raised in California. And so when you have the experience of growing up in poverty, you often, and I think many can relate to it, when you're growing up in those conditions, you're always trying to figure out, okay, what are ways that I can get out of this? Mm-hmm. And I thought that I needed to be a lawyer, a teacher, a doctor, and shout out to all the people who are doing justice work from that angle. And I was actually on my way to law school. I was a UCLA student and ended up finding this internship program. And it was community organizing at this organization called Scope. And so long story short, that summer turned to a year, that year turned to 7 years, and that 7 years turned to 16. And what we did, we were an economic justice organization. And so my entree point into climate was actually through the economy. I was trying to figure out, okay, what are good paying jobs that Black and brown communities, because that's who lived in South Central, could benefit from? And what was going to be the next growth industry? This was way back in the kind of early 2000s. And we saw that climate and clean energy was going to be the next growth industry, and trillions of dollars were going to be in this industry. So we were like, okay, what can we do to ensure that our people aren't left behind? So that was the work that I started doing. And when I tell you, we helped to create some green jobs, some unionized jobs, some good paying jobs. But the more that I delved into climate, and especially being in South Central, which is a neighborhood that, and they call it South LA and South Central because it's actually centered in the middle of freeways. Yeah. Freeways surrounded us from the north, south, east, and west. And, people know we have one of the major ports in the world, the LA ports, right? And so that means diesel trucks that are carrying goods are also going all throughout and around our community. And so what that also meant is that we actually had some of the worst air quality. We actually lived across from oil rigs and oil drilling, and people lived in neighborhoods where fracking was happening. And I have to tell you, when you're living in your community, you kind of normalize all this stuff around you. So the more that I started digging into climate, I was like, oh, snap. This isn't just about jobs and the economy. This is about the air we're breathing. Yeah. This is about the water we're drinking. This is about where our children are playing and if it's safe. And if the soil is healthy, this is about the food we eat. This is about public transportation. So I realized that this is like the intersectional issue of our time. And, part of my story at Scope, I started as an intern, as I mentioned, but I also ascended to being the CEO and president of that organization. The founder, Anthony Thigpen, and now Mayor Bass were actually my mentors and asked me to step into that role. So I was a young CEO at that time. And because I was starting to learn so much about climate, I ended up transforming what was well known as an economic justice organization into a climate justice organization, one of the premier climate justice organizations in the country. And it was actually there that I came across the Solutions Project, which is the organization that I now lead. And we were one of the first or inaugural grantees of the Solutions Project, which means that we were one of the first groups that the Solutions Project gave resources to. We were a smaller organization back then, but we were values aligned. And so, that $5,000 or $10,000 that we were receiving back then meant a lot to us. And long story short, I was kind of recruited to be on the board because I was active with the organization and engaged and in conversation. I served on the board for 3.5 years, kind of shared my vision for the vehicle of it, and was eventually recruited to be the CEO, and I've now been the CEO for the past 6 years.
It's a story that in Black History Month is even more important, or not, maybe not more important, but significantly important because of the striving and the fighting and the pushing and all the things that you learned in this circuitous route to get to a point where you're leading one of the most influential organizations when it comes to climate. What a great story. It's an American story. It's an American story. It really is. It's starting from, where you were born, where you were raised, and all the things that happened. But at the end of the day, you've held on to something that I think is critically important. And that is that, this environment, this thing that we live on, this planet, it's our house. And, we can either take care of it or we can, treat it like we're hoarding, and hoarding bad. In this case, bad energy, bad air quality, bad drink, all these things. Or we can clean it up. We can fix it. We can make it better. And you've held on to that, and evidenced by the amount of money that you guys have, helped to get distributed to different places throughout the country in terms of amplifying climate justice. I mean, did I read correctly? It's somewhere in the range of $50 million. Do I have that right?
Yeah, nearly $60 million we've moved to the field now. And we're still fundraising. We're trying to raise $100 million. That's the next milestone. And, and truth be told, this money sounds like a lot, but it's really a drop in the bucket when it comes to the reality of how underinvested and historically disinvested these organizations are and have been. And so that's the gap that we want to fill, because these are the organizations that are advancing the work, leading the work. You know, I appreciate you using the term climate justice, because that's part of why I stick in this work, is because we don't have a myopic view of what climate is. You know, we can think that it's, yes, just about the environment, that it's just about air pollution. But the thing about climate justice, like that justice part, is saying that it's both about people and our planet and how we relate to each other. Are we going to be extractive and exploitative and sacrificial of one another and our resources, our land, our one home, as you said? Or are we going to, you know, live in a way that we're all in our dignity, that we're being regenerative, that we're leading with a lot of care? And so that's why I've been able to stick in this work, because it's about working at the intersections of like racism, poverty, sexism, and pollution. Right? It's you know, in our movement, we don't oversimplify it.
It's all of those things, because
it's all of those things.
Yeah, you're listening to Choose Views on WCPT, AM 820 in Chicago, and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu, and we are talking with President and CEO of the Solutions Project, Gloria Walton. So, Gloria, I say this a lot, and I said it to Aubrey earlier in the week when I have a guest on it that's an expert in the space of environment and climate justice. We all are breathing, you know, you and me and 8 other people could be walking down Santa Monica Boulevard and get to, you know, Santa Monica and Ocean, and all 10 of us are breathing the same air. We're appreciating the same sun. So no matter what someone says about, you know, the planet's not overheating, or that we aren't dealing with, you know, these radical changes in the environment and the temperature of the earth, we are. The evidence, the data backs it up, and it's not, you know, some crazy you know, weird science that folks in the administration right now want to portray it as being. It's real, and
it's real,
and we all are experiencing it at the same time. In different parts, you know, whether I'm here in downtown Chicago or in downtown LA, in any part of the country, and so some areas are for lack of better words worse than others, but we're still all experiencing it in some way or another, and I think that's why organizations like yours are so incredibly important, because not only do you highlight it, but you come up with solutions and tools that people can use to go forward and make things better. Talk about how you deliver that message between we've identified that there are problems, and now here's what it is that we all need to be doing. How do you convey that message to folks?
Yes. So I think now is an opportune time, just given what we're all navigating in this country. You know, you talk about us walking down the street and breathing the same air. And often I talk about how, as people, we can have a NIMBY mentality, right? Not in my backyard. And so that's all you're thinking about, right, is your backyard. But climate is one of those things, is like, if it's happening to your neighbor, if it's happening to the community next door, if it's happening to the urban center in South LA, because like the story that I painted in South LA, you know, with us being at the center of freeways, that meant that we were some of the sickest communities. We had some of the highest rates of COPD and asthma, and you know, high rates of cancer, right? And so you can take that story and overlay it in any urban center across the country, and now in rural areas too, with these AI data centers, right? So the not in my backyard mentality is exactly what we should not have, because if it ain't in your backyard today, it's going to be in your backyard tomorrow, next week, or next year. Yep. So we need to start being in relationship and awareness, which, you know, about what's going on with each other these days. You know, I talked about how our people are working at the intersections of all these solutions. And the reason that matters right now, you may have heard like folks talking about, oh, we're in the apocalypse, the last days, right? All the things. And I'm someone who loves etymology, right, and linguistics. And people who know me, like, part of why I came into philanthropy was because, you know, it's a Greek word that means philanthropia. Because, you know, when I was in an organization, I actually didn't have such a great experience with philanthropy. But once I was called to be here, right, and this was the next assignment that I was being recruited towards, I was like, well, let me kind of dig more into this. And philanthropy is a Greek word that means for the love of humanity. Now, for me to not have a good experience, and this is supposed to be about for the love of humanity, I was like, oh, there's actually room in here for me to actually be about the love of humanity. So I came into this role doing that, but that's not why I brought up etymology. I brought up etymology because the word apocalypse is actually, the root of that is the Greek word apocalypsis, and it means the uncovering, the revelation, the revealing, right? And so these are the times that we're living in when so much is being uncovered and revealed. And so when we're thinking about ICE, for example, that all of us have been experiencing across the country and many of our communities have been affected by, and the deaths and the custody and the disappearing, and now people are waking up to that being a human rights issue, issue about our dignity and freedom. When we think about the systemic dismantling of environmental protections that has happened since the onset of this administration, and now most recently the repeal of the Environmental Protection Agency's endangerment finding, which really stripped away the legal basis for regulating greenhouse gases. And all that means is that they're prioritizing fossil fuels or oil companies and petrochemical plants' interests over the interests of people, over our public health, over our future, over our children, over our planet, right? And then this fight that we're dealing with when it comes to fighting for our democracy, that's a coordinated strategy to repress the voices of women and communities of color with these restrictive voting laws and
the FACE Act and all this other garbage.
Right. Yes, all these barriers to the ballot box. And so we often see this stuff as siloed and separate. But again, when you're talking about climate justice, it's actually intersectional. It's actually interlocking. It's actually the same root system of extraction, of dominance, of power, control, right? Like that's benefiting and profiting from this. So I talk about the corporate agenda that's at play a lot because it's like, the same systems that are profiting from ICE and the militarization of our borders, the suppression of the vote, expansion of fossil fuels. That's all the same corporate and financial interests at play.
Yeah.
And they think that it's...
What's interesting, I thank you for reminding us, Gloria. Thank you for reminding us of something that I try to talk about as best I can. But thank you for saying how these things are connected. And sometimes my wife uses this phrase, it's a dotted line connection, and sometimes it's a solid black line. And what's happening is that the dots are getting denser, which means that it's going to be a solid line of direct connection to, she's an amazingly smart person. Right? Okay. Right? So to that end, it is really, we have to realize our silos are there, but we've got to understand this connectivity to these. I just keep saying to folks, it's almost like going back to the phrase from All the President's Men, follow the money. That scene. We have to follow the money and the people that are driving the money toward things that are for certain groups and away from the masses. It's real. Right. And with regard to climate, this is just that's just one of the silos. All these others that you just denoted are equally at threat right now. But,
Absolutely.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's all the same, right? Like, it's like the silos are there. The silos are really an illusion, right? And so what I ask people is like, don't get disillusioned by the illusion, right? Because the silos are there to make us think that all this stuff is separate. And it's a very effective way to divide our power.
Yeah.
Because as I mentioned, even, when you're thinking about climate and the extractive industries, those are the same industries that are benefiting from the militarization of our borders. Those are the same industries that are benefiting from the repression of the vote, because it's an attempt to strip communities of their collective political, legal, and social power.
Yep. It's a consolidation of power in so many different categories, and we can build again, different groups, not groups of people, but different groups or categories of things and look at them.
Yeah.
Gloria, as we're coming to an end, and let me just put this out there. I do this with We're blessed to have so many great guests on our show. So I get to ask the question. I get to be very selfish and go, we'd love to have you come back and talk about what you do again. Because
I'd love to be back because we're just getting started.
We're just getting started. So Henry and Mike are like, yeah, Rich, you're going to have to make sure that she's back on. So listen, right? I know. Our listeners benefit from this from all over the country. But there are a few things that I'm just going to kind of wrap up with so that you can have the last few moments. Let our audience know how they can find you and how they can plug in to you literally today. And given that this is, Black History Month and that it's the joining of the NAACP and the Solutions Project's work, let folks know how they can connect with you, how they can get involved, and just do that for us so people can stay connected to you.
Yes. So it's Black History Month and it's Black Climate Week, and it's time for us to be connected to each other. I'm definitely on Instagram at just Gloria Walton, my first and last name. My organization, the Solutions Project, is also on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. You can also go to our website, which is thesolutionsproject.org. That's a way also to connect to the hundreds of organizations, of grassroots organizations that I really feel like are the soul and backbone of our democracy because, as I mentioned earlier, they're often doing the work when no one's looking and when they're not getting the credit, right? But they're really the ones who are kind of helping to advance change and innovation and solutions in our country. So on our website, we have a map that has a bunch of grassroots organizations across the country. So I always encourage people to start local. And that's with your neighbor, that's with your family, and it can be with your local community organization too. So those are all the ways that you can find us. And thanks so much, Richard, for having us on. Like I said, we're just getting started, and this has been a really good conversation, and just appreciating the work that you and your team are doing, to help keep us woke, okay,
yeah.
and awake, okay?
That's right. That's right. And if people don't like that, then we'll change it to plugged in, but we're going to stay in this fight.
Okay, but who wants to be asleep, right? Like, I think that we have to kind of wake up to, again, what these words actually mean versus how they've been politicized and demonized and all these things, right? Like, because this is all about the uncovering and the revelation. And so thank you all for helping to reveal some truths in this world.
Absolutely. There she is. It is an honor to have her with us, and that is Gloria Walton, President and CEO of the Solutions Project. Gloria, thanks for hanging out with us. I look forward to having you back again, and we will definitely make that happen, okay?
All right. Peace and God bless.
Absolutely. Take care and have a great rest of the week.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye now.
You too.
Guys, let's go to let me do this real quickly because I know we're going to be tight on time. Today on Live, Local, and Progressive, Joan Esposito's guests are political analyst and journalist Jonathan Alter, Pat Hines, 2026 candidate for Cook County Assessor. You've seen the commercials. She's been on this show. Margaret Croak, Illinois State Representative, 2026 candidate for Comptroller, and William Muck, Professor of Political Science at North Central College. That's Live, Local, and Progressive. Joan Esposito, weekdays here on WCPT, heartlandsignal.com, and tune in. Tonight on Driving It Home, Patty Vasquez will be joined by Kevin Morrison, 15th District County Board Commissioner and candidate for Congress, Robert Held, Chicago attorney and anti-ICE activist, and car guy Tom Appel, host of the Consumer Guide Car Stuff podcast. That's a mouthful. Driving It Home with Patty Vasquez, weekdays 5 to 7 here on WCPT, Heartland Signal website, tune in, YouTube, and Facebook. And then tomorrow, Catherine Lehman, Executive Director of the Edley Center on Law and Democracy at UC Berkeley, will be with us, and part of our interview that we did. And Ralph Eubanks, author of When There's Darkness on the Delta, as well as Nathan Taylor of the Election Truth Alliance. Whew. Got that all in, guys. Let's take a quick break, y'all. 773-763-9278 is the number. You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT, AM 820 in Chicago, and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM. I'm Richard Chu. We'll be right back.
Raise the bar on performance and style in a brand new Porsche from the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park. Browse and test drive our extensive selection, like the 2026 Porsche Macan. Right now, lease the 2026 Macan for only $949 a month for 39 months. Discover performance like no other when you visit the Porsche Exchange in Highland Park or PorscheExchange.com. 8,519 to signing for qualified buyers. Excludes tax, title, license, and doc fee. No security deposit required. Expires 3/2/26.
Are you a parent of a 2 to 8 year old? Listen closely for an exciting offer, then head to abcmouse.com/radio to learn more. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
We're offering a promo at abcmouse.com/radio to try it for free for a month, then $14.99 per month until canceled. Go to abcmouse.com/radio to see this offer. That's abcmouse.com/radio. Actual ABC Mouse users compensate for their testimonials, sponsored by Age of Learning.
From posters and presentations to labels and loyalty cards, Staples has all the print to boost your brand. Shop now, in-store, and online. Staples. That was easy.
AP News, I'm Marcela Sanchez. In the longest ever State of the Union address, President Trump attempted to convince voters the U.S. is winning so much, insisting he sparked an economic boom at home and imposed a new world order abroad. The president also made his case for his foreign policy approach.
During President Donald Trump's State of the Union address Tuesday night, he falsely claimed that in the first 10 months of his second administration, he ended 8 wars. And he said he's working hard to end a 9th war, the 4-year battle between Russia and Ukraine.
As president, I will make peace wherever I can, but I will never hesitate to confront threats to America wherever we must.
Trump also claimed that just 8 months after the U.S. wiped out Iran's 3 critical nuclear facilities, they are again, quote, pursuing their sinister ambitions, end quote. Trump has been weighing whether to take additional military action against Iran. Donna Warder, Washington.
The House yesterday rejected a bill requiring aircraft locator systems intended to prevent mid-air collisions. AP correspondent Ben Thomas has more.
This was preventable. This was 100% preventable.
National Transportation Safety Board Chair Jennifer Homendy in January talking about last year's collision near Washington's Reagan National Airport between an Army Black Hawk helicopter and an American Airlines jet that killed 67 people. To avoid such deadly mishaps, the NTSB, since 2008, has been recommending that aircraft that fly near busy airports be equipped with systems that can receive as well as transmit location data. The Senate passed such legislation, but the House on Tuesday rejected it. An airlines trade group, the military, and groups representing business jet and small plane owners backed a competing, more comprehensive House bill. Speaker Mike Johnson tells AP the House and Senate are committed to working out an aviation safety bill.
This is AP News. AP correspondent Karen Shamas reports on Hungary's upcoming elections and President Viktor Orban's anti-Ukrainian campaign.
As elections get closer, Hungary's pro-Russian president is pushing to stay in power, with an anti-Ukrainian message at the heart of his campaign. Viktor Orban is running an aggressive media campaign whose central message is that Hungarians should refuse to align with the rest of Europe in supporting Ukraine against Russia's invasion. That path, he argues, risks bankrupting the country and getting its youth killed on the front lines. Budapest's Liberal mayor, Gergely Karashan, has called the strategy a hate campaign and described it as stomach-churning. Orban's chief opponent, Peter Magyar, has focused his campaign on stemming the rising costs of living, improving social services, and reining in corruption. I'm Karen Shamas.
And I'm Marcela Sanchez, AP News.
This is 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. We'll see mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the mid-30s. Winds out of the northwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 25. And for tonight, partly cloudy with a low near 23. By Thursday, we'll see some sunshine, a high of 42 degrees. And Friday, plenty of blue skies and sun, a high of 59. Saturday, chance for rain and snow mixing late, a high around 40. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 28.
Hi, I'm Pat Hines, candidate for Cook County Assessor. Cook County families deserve stability, not confusion and surprises. After 8 years of promised reform, taxpayers are still facing late bills, sudden tax spikes, and ongoing uncertainty. The Chicago Tribune uncovered hundreds of millions of dollars in property missing from the tax rolls, shifting the burden onto you. When assessments are wrong, families pay more than their fair share. It's time for accuracy. It's time for accountability.
Paid for by Heinz for Assessor. Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
Richard Chu's got his eyes on the truth. And you're right where you need to be. This is Chu's Views.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. It's Wednesday, and I got a big old smile on my face. Wasn't she phenomenal, Gloria Walton? I mean, just so energetic and full-throated in her knowledge about the climate, about our environment, and the things that we need to be doing about it. And the number one thing that I got from today's segment was being connected about it and talking about it and recognizing that you could be in downtown Chicago broadcasting a radio show, or you could be in central Indiana about to go on that radio show. And we're all dealing with environment issues that we have to embrace and work together to solve. So y'all know it's Wednesday and it's 7 o'clock. That means that our good friend Kurt Mullett from Hoosier Blue 63 is in the waiting room, ready to hang out with us for a little bit. Good morning, Kurt, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, Richard. How you doing today?
I'm
Thanks for having me.
I'm always great, brother. I'm doing great. I got my coffee, got my guys here in the studio, and I'm hanging out with you. So I couldn't be doing too much better. And having had a great conversation with Gloria Walton about our connection as a community was just so energizing. I mean, I as the phrase goes, I feel like I just came out of church, a good sermon, and now you want to go out and conquer the world. And Henry was saying the same thing. It's like, wow, she just really hit the points that we all need to be talking about when it comes. And she, and you'll appreciate this because of your breadth of understanding and knowledge and work. She really hit on the fact that it's the injustices in different categories we have to talk about those, because she, her primary is climate work, but then she looked at the other areas where these consolidations of power and this bad money and all these other things are connected. And I was thinking about you while I'm making myself listen and focus, but I thought Kurt's probably just going, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's not just injustices in other categories. It's injustices in every category.
That's why I thought about
There's
you. I was like,
nothing that is not.
Yeah, I mean, she just nailed it. She really just nailed it. So great to have her on, and looking forward to having her back on.
Yes.
Yeah, she was fantastic, man. This is becoming like the new T-shirt line for you and me. What a week.
Yeah.
Whataweek.com.
Yeah. It's so crazy that you forget what happened last Thursday, because of everything that goes on. I mean, it's just not, and it's just like you said last week when we came on, we hadn't had a chance to talk about the events that occurred on Wednesday because we talked about, or we, talked in the morning on Wednesday.
Right.
And it's the same thing, It just changes. It's just unreal.
Well, kudos to let you and I both do this, being Midwesterners and understanding the importance of hockey throughout the country, but certainly for those in the Midwest. I never played, but I have a tremendous amount of respect for those who do play it on any level. But kudos to our hockey teams for getting it done.
Yeah.
That we can't not give them their credit and their due. And also, once again, you and I, who are both mama's boys and respect the women in our lives, our lady team said, nah, we're not showing up at your stupid little party, Donald Trump. Kudos to these young women for stepping out, and many of the women Olympians have been like, no, I'm
absolutely.
not. Talk about how that's impacted you, watching and hearing that.
Yeah, I mean, the Olympics had a weird feeling this year, but I'm still, I support the athletes. I playing athletics as a kid and growing up in the athletic world or in the sports world, I know what it's like. I know the time that you have to put into, not like Olympians do, obviously, but I know the work and the grind that you have to put in. So I appreciated watching them, and you feel the tragedy when somebody doesn't perform, and then you feel the ecstasy when they overperform, and it's just a great high to watch the Olympics. You don't sit in front of the TV and watch 2 hours of curling at any other time in your lifetime. Except for when the Olympics come on.
Speaking of 2 hours, if someone said, "Okay, Chew, you got to pick one or the other," and listen, Kurt and I are officially not dogging curling. We're not.
Right.
But there's two things I'm going to say. One, I would have preferred to watch 2 hours nonstop without a bathroom break of curling than to watch that doo-doo show last night. That being said, hold your powder for a moment, because I know you got a bunch to say. But have you seen, Kurt, some of the people? This is what I love about us as folk, all of us, is the creativity of people who have been doing their versions of curling in their house or in their yard. I've seen, and I know you have too, where and two other of our friends are out in the backyard, and we put down a plastic thing, and we're pretending we're curling. Or I've seen people with cleaning mops in their house, and their rumba, and they're doing that stuff is hilarious.
Yeah. Did you see the one where the dog was pushing around his empty bowl?
Yeah, right.
I mean, it's classic stuff.
It is.
Kudos to the Olympic hockey teams. And I never thought at 62 years old I would be a Flavor Flav fan, but I
Come on, man. Did you see that?
Yeah. Kudos to that dude.
Talk about that for a second, because I know I sent you some information on that from our friend Sarah.
Well, I know who he is, and I've seen his stuff before, and he's out there. I mean, he's one of these dudes that but for him to step up like he did and to come out and say, "Hey, come party with me. I'm sure I can get some people to help me out here that I won't have to foot all the bill." And now we've got, I think it's Alaskan Airlines and some other airlines have stepped up, and hotels are coming up. And I mean, he's going to throw a party for these women that, will be unmatched. So
and people will enjoy themselves. They won't feel this pressure or this obligation to genuflect to some knucklehead in the White House. And he's put together this, for you guys that don't know, Flavor Flav has put together a party in Vegas to celebrate the gold medal hockey team, the women's hockey team. How cool is that?
Mm-hmm.
How cool?
Great. I love it.
A regular everyday guy, one of us, that decided, what, I'm gonna do the thing that I think is right to celebrate this excellence. That's how you get it done. And it's not about him; it's about them. And I just think it was so cool. Sarah Jones from The Daily, who you guys know is on our show every other week, she wrote a great article about that, and you guys should check out the article. It's short, but it's to the point about how you get it done. That's we're leaders in the moment that we're in, at the moment that we're in them. And he definitely is representing that. Kurt,
go ahead, open it up, man.
Yeah.
Crack the top.
Wow. And I know you were of the mindset, and I respect this, and that the Dems didn't even really need to show up and put themselves through that torture. And you've heard my opinion a couple different points. Someone said to me, "Richard, I'm disappointed that you think that wigs would have been, an adequate thing, a silly wig." But we're trying to make humor of this, y'all. We know that they wouldn't have come in wigs and all that, whoever's wig it would have been. We're trying to make humor of a crazy situation when we got this knucklehead, this craven knucklehead in the White House, giving a 2-hour speech that was attacking American citizens at its best. And so to that end, whether they showed up or didn't, whoever did or did not, I think that we all knew what we were going to see and or hear. And, I just feel like, once again, this is where we draw the line and say, are we going to fight, or are we going to sit back and just kind of, take it? And I choose to fight. But what we know happened last night was, it was predictable, Kurt. I mean, what are your thoughts? What were your thoughts going into this? as well as now
Well,
on the other side of it.
I knew the wife wouldn't want to watch it, and I didn't really want to watch it either. So I came into my PC and I was watching some of the pre-show, and I got to the point to where Moses Johnson and JD were sitting up, behind the podium where he was going to speak. And, I call him Moses Johnson because he brought that on himself.
Yes, he did.
Remember back in the day when he talked about God spoke to him and he thought he was telling him to be the role of Jesus. And then he realized, no, I'm the role of Moses and Trump is going to be Jesus. That's why I call him Moses. But when they were sitting up there or standing up there behind where the podium is, where the speech was going to be made, and the way they were smirking, and the only thing that could come to my mind with Johnson is the old Life commercial. Mikey when he's sitting at the end of the table, and all you see is his head above the table.
Yeah,
that's what Moses reminded me of. So I decided I wasn't going to watch it or listen to it then. So I did last night when we went to bed. I put my earbuds in and I listened to it, and wow. So I didn't get to see a lot of the facial expressions or who exactly was there or anything. I'll look and find out later. But I listened to it, and I didn't realize somebody could lie for an hour and 48 minutes straight until last night. Now I know. So
yeah,
it's just pathetic. What a self-absorbed, just narcissistic piece of
excrement.
I mean, it is just unbelievable.
Yeah,
and the people that fawn over him is just, it's sick.
Have you no dignity? Not you, but do they not have any dignity?
None.
I mean, how do you?
None.
And here's the thing too, Kurt. And by the way, y'all, you're listening to Choose Views on WCPT AM 820 in Chicago and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu, and we're talking with our good friend, Hoosier Blue 63, also known as Kurt Mullett. See, I flipped that around today. How could a person lose themselves that much and lose their dignity and their self-respect that much? Because what is it that it takes to let yourself be in that situation? I just don't know about that. I really don't. We've all been in situations where we've had to kind of eat crow and deal with some of our mistakes and the things that we've done and said and all that. We've all been on that side of life, but not to the point where I would denigrate myself. So then I go to the other side of this, Kurt. Is it just that's what they believe? And here's the dude that's going to be the one out there saying all that they believe and that they actually revel in. Maybe it's not that maybe they don't feel like they're denigrating themselves, Kurt. Maybe they feel like, yeah, this is what I actually believe and think about people and how I think about the world and the society that I live in. Because I mean, you and I don't roll with people who would let themselves be denigrated that much. If I saw you as my friend starting to teeter, and Eric Grant and I talk about this all the time. We use the phrase, get your boy. But if I saw you denigrating yourself or allowing yourself to be punked like that, you and I would have a conversation in the backyard, and it wouldn't be pretty. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You know how we roll. I would be like, yo, man, what's up? And so, you know what I'm saying? Talk about that from your perspective. And that's not about being male and Brody and all this other kind of, stuff. That's just about respecting and caring about your friend. Talk to us.
Being a decent human being. Yeah. I mean, I have this conversation with a couple young women that I'm working on some things with, because we see this happening with some of the people that we support and who are behind, and we're starting to see them kind of like, they're stepping away a little bit from what we originally thought they should be. And I don't understand people who cannot stand their ground and fight 100% for what they believe in and not worry about what people think or say about them. And the only thing I can tell you is what is going on with here is fear, acceptance of who he is, the allowance of them being able to be who they are, Because they are truly showing their colors.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care at this point who you are, and I know we talk about this and it gets thrown around a lot, but if you support this regime and this guy, you're a white racist POS. You are. And if you're someone who is not white and you support this guy, you're lost.
Got some issues.
You have no clue. You have no clue. And I'll leave it at that. But just to listen to him last night, when you have to spend your entire life telling everybody how great you are and all the things that you've achieved, you have some serious personal issues.
Yeah.
I mean, deep down, you have some issues within yourself that you feel like you have to project that kind of whatever it is that he projects. But we see this is a repeated pattern in history of dictatorial tyrants like this guy. This is who they are.
Yeah.
They suffer from inferiority complex to the point to where they have to project themselves to something that they are not, just in order to feel accepted. And that's what this guy did. But it just listening to it, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
unreal.
It really was.
Him bannering the Supreme Court justices.
Man,
I mean, I need to look it up. Like I said, I didn't see the faces, but I've been told that John Roberts was like beside himself or had a look on his face.
He did.
What am I doing? Or
I mean, and if I listen, your point about the people who have lost their way, and those are my words, but the people who can't find their way out of where they are in supporting this guy. We kind of at this point have to leave them along the side of the road. And maybe when we circle back around, we can pick them up when they get their heads right. But right now, we can't waste our time on those folks. We got to keep forging ahead and finding more of the people that you've been able to pull out and you've been able to talk to and bring into the conversation, some of which are running for office and some which are just realizing that they want to be part of something that's going to affect change. We got to lean in toward those people. Those others who, we've been telling them and they just don't want to listen or whatever. We got to leave you. We got to leave you at the station. We'll be back and see if you want to join us. Yeah. But for now, we got to keep marching down this path and keep gathering the steam or gathering the people so that we can keep up the steam that I really do believe we are getting. We're having, and it's those local elections. It's a lot of the local stuff that you're doing and other people are doing throughout the country, and that momentum's real. Talk a little bit about what you see and how you see that.
Well, I mean, I was thinking of, I've been trying to write some more Substack because I've got so many thoughts that are coming through my head and things that are happening. And I didn't realize until the other day that I could dictate on my phone. So now I've been sitting down just dictating my thoughts because, I'm 62 and I'm kind of not a tech genius. But anyway, I figured that out. So, but what's happening right now, I kind of, in my head, used the analogy the other day of the front during World War II. It stretched for thousands of miles, and there were battles along every mile that were significant. Win this battle, we break through. Win this one, we break through. But the overall goal is to win the war, and that's what we are faced with right now. It's not like there's just one issue to describe or to fight. Pick your choosing.
Yeah.
Pick your battle. I mean, I know that's an old saying, but there are so many things that you can get involved in and be part of that, and you don't have to be loud and obnoxious like I can be sometimes. You can be quiet. You can write letters. You can make phone calls. You can show up to protests. You can, support those who are being loud and obnoxious.
Yeah.
So this moment's for all of us, and if we're silent, we're going to lose our freedom. But in unity, we have strength, and that's what we need to understand. the more of us that stand together, the better chance that we have of winning. And I know that's I'm being,
You get no. You're being appropriately inspiring and realistic in the same moment. We've got these incremental battles. We cannot not pay attention to them and give them the credit that they require, because the battle. And I got to share something with you guys. Kind of a profound moment. Kurt and I are on Zoom right now in our segment, and the sun just came up where he is, and in the background, as he was talking about us rising up and us working together and us finding our way and winning these battles to win the war, the sun just came up behind him. That's pretty damn profound. Henry, you saw it too. Mike, you saw it too. That's pretty amazing. So it doesn't fall on deaf ears or weak eyes. That these are moments that we have an opportunity, these incremental battles, to keep winning them, searching for them, to your point. Keep winning them. And they could be as incremental as supporting somebody else that's out there yelling and screaming at the top of their lungs in this fight, or it could be something else. But please, y'all, please hear this, and please hear what Kurt said. Pick something to do so that you are in these battles, these mini battles, to get us to a point where we win this war. And I say it all the time, and I know I'm a broken record in this space, and I embrace that. We don't have the luxury to sit back and not be in the fight right now. We just don't. We may have in the past, and maybe we overstayed our welcome in that space. But right now, we don't have that luxury. And Kurt's point is so well put about measuring out the being on the front. That's a great analogy. I love that. And that's probably because, he knows a little bit about history, and he's willing to humble himself to find out what he doesn't know so that he can be a little bit more, gathered in those areas. Go for it, my man.
No, I mean, I say this all the time. I'm far from being, the smartest guy in the room, that's for sure. So, but I'll debate you, even if I don't know what the heck I'm talking about.
Or you'll be the guy that's got a stack of books. Hold on a second, let me check. Hold on, I can find that in a book. I know it's there because it's in history. Let me check. Hold on, hold your thought.
Let me see. Exactly, you're right. No, I have learned a lot over my lifetime, and I continue to learn. And I think that's what. You have to do as an individual. The day you stop learning is, you might as well just call it quits. So, I try to educate myself every day, but, just like here in Indiana, we had so much momentum going into the filing deadlines of delegates and committee chairpersons and candidates, and our state is now challenging people across Indiana who have filed. In Marion County, where Indianapolis is located, they just purged, I think, up to 100 people off of the filings because of they're not in good standing with the party, which people don't understand. A lot of Democrats in Indiana don't vote in the primary Democratic because there's nobody running.
Yeah.
When you have a ballot and you don't have anybody on it to vote for, or there's only one person to vote for, and so your vote counts.
Not being in good standing,
Republican ballot, So
not being in good standing doesn't mean you were a bad person, it means that they don't have a history of you participating in the process, right, Kurt?
But that doesn't mean that you haven't been in the process. You just haven't been in the process according to what they. But so these are the people who have taken us down a road of losing for 20 plus years that are telling us we're not in good standing. And we're sitting here thinking, what is wrong with you people? This is why Democrats across the country struggle, because we eat our own. And I hate using that analogy, but that's true. We have momentum. We have record filings. We have not had this many since 1974. And it is not because of anything that the Democratic Party has done. It is because of what the Democratic Party in our state has not done. And they don't get it. So because you don't look the way they think you should look, or you've got a nose ring or a visible tattoo, or you have blue hair, or you're not quite the color they think you should be, they're trying to purge people and getting rid of them. And it's just unbelievable. So, we're going to continue to fight. We're going to pick our battles. We're going to support the people that are being attacked. We're going to try to maintain and know that this is maintain the momentum and know that this is not a 50-yard dash or 50-meter dash, whatever they call it now. This is a marathon.
Yeah,
this is something that will take years.
And that kind of goes back to what you said in part. I mean, we've got to keep our house clean. I mean, those are my words. We've got to keep our house clean, and we have to keep pushing our team, if you will, to do the things that are right as it relates to progress. But it also, to your point about the fight, it is a marathon. And again, your analogy of being on the front and the mini battles, MINI battles, and MANY battles that we have. Right. It's about getting to the point where we can say we're winning the war. We're going to win the war. So I appreciate your commentary there, and go Flavor Flav. Go Flavor Flav.
Yeah, I'm going to have to download some of his music now. So
yeah, exactly.
I got to admit, I never had really listened to him before, but hey, it's.
I know how you roll. We'll end up messing around, and you'll end up putting it together, and he'll be a guest on the show. So it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I'm going to reach out to him. There's no doubt about it. Hey, brother,
absolutely.
What can I help you with? Let me give you $1. So yeah,
cool.
So hey, I appreciate it, Richard. The hardest thing by being a creator and having content, being involved in this fight is you got to remember sometimes, or it's hard for me to remember sometimes, that there are people that support me. So just the fact that you allow me to be on your show once a week keeps me going at times when maybe it's a little tougher for me. So I just want to tell you that I appreciate that. I know you know this. You give a voice to a lot of people that normally would not have one, and we appreciate that of you. So
absolutely. Well,
see you, man.
It is a team effort. Like Gloria Walton said earlier, we shoulder up and we get this thing done. So thanks for being with us this morning. As always, have a great rest of the week. All right.
Yeah, I'm sure something will happen between now and next week.
I'll bet money on it. Kurt Mullett, who's your Blue 63, y'all. We'll talk to you next week, man. Be well.
Take it easy, Richard. See you.
All right. Bye-bye. 773-763-9278 is the number. You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT, AM 820 in Chicago, and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I'm Richard Chu, and when we come back, we will be talking with Kristen Crowell. Can't wait.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
If you're only good to your new friends, you're not going to have any old ones. Straight Talk gets it. That's why new and existing customers get free 5G phones on Verizon's 5G network. Pretty simple, really. You keep good people by being good people.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
WCPT Radio is going to Will County to meet and interview Will County Democrats running in the March 17th primary. Meet me, WCPT's Joan Esposito, and Will County Democrats Thursday, March 5th at Mojo's Cajun and Caribbean restaurant located on Lockport Avenue, 1 block west of Route 59 in downtown Plainfield. Candidates being interviewed include Will County Undersheriff Dan Jungles running for Will County Sheriff, Michelle Stiff running for Will County Clerk, School District Superintendent Teresa Rouse running for Regional Office of Education Superintendent, and several county board candidates. Will County Democratic candidates will be interviewed live on the Joan Esposito Show. It's all happening Thursday, March 5th from 2 to 5 p.m. at Mojo's in Plainfield. For directions, call Mojo's at 815-230-2790.
When it comes to banking, you need a bank you can trust. A bank with a rock-solid reputation and the highest integrity. A bank that gives you the attention and respect you deserve.
ABOC first opened its doors in downtown Chicago in 1922, and we've made our name on deep expertise, best-in-class service, and a strong commitment to our customers. We know the Chicago business market inside and out and can help you craft the perfect banking solution no matter what type of business you're in.
And if you're looking for a banking partner for your labor union, we can bring the type of expertise that only comes from a bank that was founded by labor unions and still has union employees and shareholders to this day.
Whether you need a deposit account, loan, trust services, or investment management, ABOC has you covered. Let's work together to manage your finances today while planning for a better tomorrow. ABOC, a bank built on a strong foundation.
Visit aboc.com to learn more. Member FDIC.
In times of uncertainty, we need leaders who put country before party. Dan Tully answered that call, serving our nation with honor.
I served in the Army Reserve and as a federal civil servant. But when the Trump agenda threatened our democracy, I refused to stay silent. I left my job in Washington in protest of Trump's lawlessness.
Dan Tully is the only candidate with a detailed plan to hold Trump accountable, a veteran, a principled leader, and ready to fight for you.
Visit dantully.com to see my comprehensive strategy for accountability. I'm Dan Tully, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Dan Tully for Congress.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. We'll see mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the mid-30s. Winds out of the northwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 25. And for tonight, partly cloudy with a low near 23. By Thursday, we'll see some sunshine, a high of 42 degrees. And Friday, plenty of blue skies and sun, a high of 59. Saturday, chance for rain and snow mixing late, a high around 40. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 28.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
He's not here to yell. He's here to inform and maybe stir the pot. This is Chew's Views with Richard Chew.
Hey, guys, welcome back to the show. Yes, indeed, we are stirring the pot. It's a nice, big old pot of gumbo. Today is like Christmas for me. I get to have Gloria Walton on, head of the Solutions Project. I get to have Kurt Mullett on, Hoosier Blue 63. And doggone it, I get to have Executive Director Kristen Crowell on from the newly founded Families Over Billionaires. You guys recognize Kristen from Fair Share America. But doggone it, it's Christmas Day for me on this Wednesday. Welcome to the show, Kristen. Thanks for being back with us.
Well, good morning, and thanks for having me back.
Absolutely. Wow. We were. She's got this smile and smirk on, and the head shake. Like, can you believe this? And we were texting each other. We were, about the craziness of what was going on this week. But Kristen had an opportunity to do something really unique, and I'll let her talk about it. And that was on Monday, and she mentioned this a couple weeks ago when she was on last time, that her organization and her team of people throughout the country were going to essentially do a preempt to the State of the Union last night that they conducted on Monday. So, as you guys know, Kristen is the woman that organized this huge national protest and took a bus around the country and to let everybody know it's not about billionaires, everybody. It's about us. And she made it clear to so many people in so many communities that we have an opportunity to push back. And if you remember last summer when the big ugly bill was being pushed by this administration, one of the things that Kristen was doing was making sure that people knew more of the detail around the bill. And so here we are months later, and she's still in the fight and just did another great event on Monday. Kristen, welcome, but talk to us about Monday's event. And of course, we can't get away from talking about what happened last night.
Yeah, that's right. So Monday, we really believe in the power of people being able to tell their own stories and how this last year under this administration has impacted their daily lives. And we brought over 20 storytellers, many of which we met along our tour past summer, to share and update the country as to, now that it's been a year under Donald Trump, now that the one big ugly law is hitting communities incredibly hard, what does this really mean? And we wanted to tell the story the night before the formal address because we know this administration can't stand on their own record. They cannot go and tell the truth. So we anticipated the lies, and we wanted to we wanted to debunk it ahead of the game. And again, I don't think there's any better way to counter, the Trump administration's spin than to really show how this affects real people. And we continue to see in the polling, there's the human data and the collateral damage that this administration has rained down on our communities, but then there's the polling. And independent voters do not buy the lies. And we see this over and over again. And so Monday night was our chance to humanize the impacts of the one big ugly law, to get ahead of the lies that we knew that Donald Trump would be spewing, and we saw last night, and to remind us that there's more of us that believe in a government that works for the people and not the billionaire class, and not for Donald Trump's enablers and his friends and his donors. And this is about building a movement that is big enough to, at some point, take this all back and undo these horrific laws and restore funding and fairness, and equity, and an economy that works for working people back to our state of play in the United States of America.
It was so great. I caught clips of it yesterday afternoon, and some of the people that were there to speak. And you had people from all over the country talking about, like you said, their personal experiences, how this last 12 months has impacted them, whether it be something with the environment, something with immigration, something with the economy, something with inflation, all of the things. And then I'm going to say independent and set it aside for a moment because I want to come back to that if we can. All of the things that Donald Trump ran on, even our international affairs, all of those things that he ran on without question. And the one that was supposed to be the real bellwether was immigration. He's failed miserably on, not kind of failed, miserably failed on. And it was such a smart thing on your part as the successful person and caring person that you are to put together an event that allowed people to speak specifically about how these failures have impacted their lives. What a marvelous thing to do, Kristen. Talk a little bit about some of those stories and how they impacted you and the group that was put together.
I think it's also important to come together because when you look at the scale of this administration and the billionaire class and where they have their tentacles entangled into our daily life, it does feel at times incredibly overwhelming. And so when you get folks together in a room, one, you can't, we're not statistics. Our communities are not just talking points from the Republican trifecta. We're real humans. And it also builds everyone's collective courage.
Yep.
And I've been really talking this past year about, we oftentimes these policy choices, they land right on our kitchen counter, they land in our kids' schoolroom, and it feels like that we're alone, that we're struggling. This is an individual or an individual family's struggle. But when we come out and talk about them, we're reclaiming our collective power. And we are saying we will not be silenced. We will not be isolated. We will not live in fear of putting our truth out into the world. And when people do it, and there's a mom Karen, who traveled with her teenage son who lives with disabilities and autism, requires really hands-on intensive care for him to participate fully in his school. She came from New Hampshire, talked about the impacts it's having on his classroom, on his ability to just be a human being and live a teenage existence in this country. We heard from a doctor from Flint, Michigan, who talks about the impact that the healthcare cuts, Medicaid, Medicare, and the ACA premiums are having on her patients in Flint, Michigan, and the care that people need and people deserve have been whacked at over and over and over by this administration. We heard from environmental scientists from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and talked about the impacts of, the stalled economic vitality that the clean energy jobs could be producing more of to reduce our reliance on oil and gas and the big corporate overlords of those industries that hold us hostage, and how those have stalled out, and not only what that's doing to our generation's ability to have a clean planet, but locally right now, the job loss and the economic instability that this administration has just gone after all of us.
Yeah.
I think the other piece is sorry, Richard,
No. Go.
Is that, we talk about the one big ugly law. It really touches every single one of us, that there is not one person in this country that has not been impacted. And sure, if you're in the billionaire class, you got a windfall. You got a bunch of money at our collective community's expense. And the rest of us are able to say, this is how it's impacted us. And so, again, it's important to bring us together. It's important to remind us that there are more of us organizing. There are more of us that are really angry, and independent voters that voted for Trump. We had a former Republican elected official from New Hampshire talk about the damage that Trump administration has done specifically to healthcare, specifically to her healthcare. And folks are living, they're living with economic uncertainty and anxiety, and what it's doing to folks' pocketbooks and to their nervous systems was on full display.
Yeah. You're listening to Choose Views on WCPT AM 820 in Chicago and WARR 1520 AM and 103.5 FM from Warren County, North Carolina. I am talking with Kristen Crowell, who's the executive director of Families Over Billionaires. So I'm listening to you, and I'm listening and telling myself, don't make notes, just listen. And I always go through that. But there's a couple things that you said that come back to some conversations that I've had in the last week. Baton Rouge. Last Friday, Kristen, we were blessed to have General Russell Honore on the show. And he lives in Baton Rouge, and he talked about what's happening climate-wise. His Green Army is a huge organization working toward improving where we are when it comes to our environment. And he went after the data centers. He went after a couple things that you've gone after, et cetera. And Baton Rouge is a community, a part of the country, a region that's really suffering because of the disinvestment. But that's true of so many parts of the country. It's true in some of our biggest cities. So when we talk about how this billionaire class, this uber wealthy class, which I don't care about them make all the money you want to, but recognize that you made that which you are a steward over, it impacts people's lives. So be willing to say, I made this, I did this, I'm a part of this growth of this business or this industry, but be willing to say that other people helped get you there and return the favor to the folks that helped you to get there. That's not happening right now. It's just and Gloria talked about this too, this incredible amount of just a gathering and consolidation of wealth and resources in so many different categories, that they're not just silos anymore. It's the consolidation across the board. And the other thing that I wanted to throw out to you in terms of a conversation I had, I did a little bit of report on the company Dollar General now has recognized that it's probably a good business decision that they start to target people who make over $100,000 a year and putting stores in communities, because they realize that if they're spending more, if they make more money, but they're having to spend more money, then their spread between income and expenses it's gotten worse. So it's not just, and I know you know this, people who might be at a certain sub $100,000 income level or mid to lower income levels. It's people that are in that so-called vaunted middle class and up that are being impacted by these tariffs, this terrible policy, and all these connected dots. I know you probably had conversations with people who are in those income categories.
Absolutely. And, one of the, I think, most revealing moments of our event on Monday night is I asked the crowd, I asked our audience, raise your hand if over the last year, your daily costs have gone up, whether that's food, gasoline, electricity, healthcare. every single person, 100% of the people in our audience. And it was, again, a wide range of socioeconomic, and I mean, it was the most, it's representative of our country. It's an incredibly diverse audience. 100% of us have seen our daily cost skyrocket under this administration, an administration that ran on reducing costs and making it easier for working people to get by. And the other piece, we've been doing some polling too. And one question that we asked in our latest survey was, do you believe that you will be better off economically in 5 years? And the subgroup you talked about, folks that are earning over $100,000 a year currently, they do not, the majority of them do not believe that in the next 5 years, their personal economic situation is going to improve. The majority of the respondents overall didn't believe it, but when you talk about middle-class families or upper middle-class families, this is hitting the majority of us hard, and life is not, life is hard. Life is hard.
That's why, maybe why is the wrong word. That's where I think there's such a huge opportunity. And this is not about necessarily being partisan. It's just about galvanizing our energy, our collective strength, which you talk so much about all the time. And the work that you do is so, it resonates so strongly in that space because of the bandwidth of people that are being impacted. At some point, and this Dollar General piece really hit me because I was like, I've been asking the question, when will that Mendoza line of $100,000 income or, above, when will that group of people go, damn, it did cost us more to go on this vacation that we took, 2 years ago. Same place. It's one of our regular spots that we go to. We fly into this city. We get a rental car. We stay at this resort. It costs us $1,500 more this year. And nothing changed. The services, and nothing against the people that were the servers and all. The service didn't get any better. The food didn't get any better. We ate basically the same food, but it cost us $1,500 more. And that is a conversation that someone in that, those upper numbers are having. I think that's where part of the opportunity is, Kristen, for more people. Maybe it's the independent voters. I don't know, but you've got more of the data on that. Is where we have an opportunity to really, to Kurt's point, win more battles and to get to the point of winning this war.
I could not agree more. I think the one, and we talked about it the last time I was here, we have to make the economic case. We have to go hard on a populist economic agenda. Just talking about the affordability crisis, the buzzword of this is going to be, it's real.
What does that mean?
I'm not trying to minimize that we are absolutely having an affordability crisis, but there's a reason we're having one. And the reason is the billionaire class and big corporations are taking more from working people and middle-class folks and poor people than ever before in the history of the country. And we have to connect it back because broadly, this, the one big ugly law, it never polled well. It's still polling terribly. Mm-hmm. People hate it. We saw last night, I thought this was,
tell us some good stories.
I mean, Donald Trump's not calling it the one big beautiful bill anymore.
Nope.
He can't because we hate it. We collectively as a country have said absolutely not. And so they're now calling it the Working Families Tax Cut Bill. We know that's bananas. We know that's baloney. I'm trying to keep my profanity in check.
I could feel it coming.
but they know they can't run on this. This is still unpopular. And we see it in the independents. I mean, Democrats are united around this, Democratic voters and independents. And there is an opportunity to build a populist movement, a center of gravity, a moral compass, if you will, for when this regime is not in charge. And that is what keeps people coming to our events. That's what gets me out of bed every day, is we are the majority and we will win someday. And the more he talks and the more he rambles, it just exposes they don't have anything good to say to the American public. They have to rely on stunts and theater. Because if they ran on the record and they talked about it and they took accountability for it, they'd be out.
Yeah.
So, it's a really hard moment. I don't want to minimize the pain that real people are facing. And there is so much hope about, put us all in charge. We know what our families need and our communities need. We don't need Washington to save us. We can organize and we can represent ourselves. And that's what we saw on Monday night with this just incredible audience of everyday Americans who are heroes, who are bravely confronting this administration and helping to make lives better in their own communities.
Did you have folks there? And I don't know if this was questions that you asked or part of the conversation that voted for at any point 16, 20, or 24 voted for Trump and or the Republicans that regret it or can put some substance to why they have moved away from that from that voting or that group?
I mean, we didn't explicitly ask the audience on Monday night, but folks identified. They said, a former Republican. Again, we had a former Republican elected representative talk about being betrayed by this current moment that the Republican Party is in. But we see it, again, going back to the polling, there's a whole group that's emerging in the polling as a subgroup called the Trump regretters.
Really?
Yes. It's not insignificant in the data sets, and it's not insignificant if you think about building a coalition that can win. And they voted again, either 1, 2, or 3 times, and they are no longer in that camp. I would caution any Democrats that are running or any candidates, doesn't mean they're for you yet. It doesn't mean that this is like a big group of people that are like, we hate them, we love you. They don't. Democrats need to really understand that they have to be for something.
Yeah.
They need to champion working people. It is insufficient to say we're going to just run against these terrible, bad people. Absolutely not. You must be for something.
Yeah.
And I think that's the moment that we are going to watch this year. I mean, we're certainly going to be out continuing to educate, continuing to push for alternatives. There are policy solutions.
Yeah.
You can go put the corporate rate back on the table. We can increase the federal minimum wage.
Yes, we can.
We can eliminate the tax cuts for billionaires that were passed in this administration. We can tear the whole thing down and we can rebuild it. But we have to be for something if we want to capture and speak to the pain and suffering and the Trump regretters. I don't think it's a given that they're just going to come vote. I think if we don't, they might just not vote at all.
Right. That's doggone it. Bakari Sellers, Trump, Biden, or the couch. He said that in May. He was in Chicago. I've mentioned that a number of times. He said it's Trump, Biden, or the couch. And those people who are, the Trump, hater, or what are they called again, Kristen? The Trump regretters. I'm sorry. The Trump regretters. We don't want them to be on the couch. We want them to say, you know what? I'm going to vote for this candidate or these candidates or this ideology because it's about something that they're doing for me. And what I've said, and I've said this to you both publicly and privately, it needs to kind of sound like, here's what they did and said they were going to do. They failed. Here's what we're going to do to make it right. Here's what they took you down the path of horror. We're leading you in this direction because this is how it's going to benefit you and your family. There's got to be that button on the end of it that says, yeah, we identify what they've done, and that's what we're against. But here's what we're for and how it's going to benefit you. If the Democratic voices and folks that are running don't say how it's going to benefit you, I think that's that button that's got, the bow that's got to be tied with that message. It's just my opinion on that, I think.
I'm having a flashback to Pennsylvania, where at one of our town halls, this man stood up and he said, and all these candidates are going to come, and I don't care about your backstory. I don't care about your kid. I don't care if you look nice. What are you going to do for us? My vote is transactional.
Yeah.
And I think that is a sentiment right now. We don't care about performative politics. We don't care about theater. What are you going to do for my family on day one? Not someday.
No.
Not when we have a study and a meet.
Here's the study.
On day one.
Here's the study right now. We know what it is. We don't need to review it anymore. Listen, guys, Kristen and I could talk forever. Y'all know that by now. Mainly because she's got something to say. So pay attention and follow Kristen Crowell, executive director of Families Over Billionaires. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're well. I know you've been busy as hell, but thanks for hanging out with us this morning, Kristen.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for listening, everyone. And we keep fighting.
Yes, we do. Stay cool.
Right.
Talk to you soon.
Thanks.
All right. Bye-bye. Guys, let's wrap it up. As always, it's been a blessing to have the great guest on our show, Kristen Crowell, Hoosier Blue, which is also known as Kurt Mullett, and Gloria Walton, President and CEO of the Solutions Project. Stay tuned for the Stephanie Miller Show. Take a deep breath and make your life count. We'll see you tomorrow.
Who is Kevin Ryan? Hey, that's me. I'm a Chicago public school teacher, union member, and Marine Corps veteran. Most importantly, I am a New Deal Democrat from a new generation, and I am running for the United States Senate to make our government work for all of us, not just the 1%. Now, you might not have heard of me because, well, I am just like you. I don't have millions of dollars to spend on TV ads, I'm not backed by a billionaire, and I've been excluded from the debates because I refuse to raise millions of dollars from the 1%. Instead, I am backed by ordinary people like you. I'm the only candidate to campaign in all 102 counties in my campaign school bus, and we fund our campaign by simply passing a hat around. So we thought we'd spend some of that money to introduce our campaign to you on WCPT radio. If you want to send a real progressive to the United States Senate and not another bought and paid for Democrat, go to kevinryan.com, spread the word, and vote for the candidate endorsed by Illinois progressives. My name is Kevin Ryan, I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I approve this message. Paid for by people of Illinois and Kevin Ryan.
You know, winter in Chicago hits hard. Is your home ready to stay warm and energy efficient? At Green Attic, they help you fight back against the cold. They're Chicagoland's trusted experts in attic insulation, spray foam, crawl space encapsulation, and mold remediation, solutions that lock in warmth and cut your heating bills. If your upstairs feels freezing or your furnace never stops running, your attic might be the culprit. Their team seals in comfort and stops energy waste at the source. Need roofing? Their sister company, Green Attic Roofing, offers asphalt, flat, premium roofs, and even Tesla solar roofs, all backed by a 10-year labor warranty and instant online quotes. Winter storms don't wait. Replace that aging roof now and protect your investment. With over 15 years of experience and more than 1,000 five-star reviews, Green Attic delivers real comfort, real savings, season after season. Visit greenattic.com for a free insulation consultation or go to greenatticroofing.com for your instant roofing estimate. Green Attic, healthy home, happy family.
Robin Kelly grew up behind the register in her dad's grocery store. So she knows what it means when the same groceries cost more each week. Under Donald Trump, corporations get tax breaks, loopholes, and a green light to price gouge. Families get higher grocery bills, higher childcare costs, high healthcare premiums. It's Trump's economy. Corporate profits first, people last. In Congress, Robin Kelly's been fighting back. Robin took on insurance companies to lower drug costs. She wrote the law extending Medicaid for new moms to a full year because cutting care after 60 days was just wrong. And now Robin Kelly is running for Senate with a people over profits agenda. Medicare for all, so healthcare isn't a ripoff. Cap on childcare costs so families can work. And crack down on corporate price gouging so you're not punished at every turn. People over profits. Robin Kelly for U.S. Senate.
I'm Robin Kelly, Democrat running for U.S. Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Robin Kelly for Senate.
Amazon Business empowers leaders with smart business buying tools, leaving time to focus on strategy and growth. Free up your teams and focus on your future at amazonbusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Marcela Sanchez. AP correspondent Karen Shamas reports Iran is pushing back on President Trump's pressure tactics.
Tensions between both nations come ahead of critical talks in Geneva on Thursday over Tehran's nuclear program.
They're working to build missiles that will soon reach the United States of America.
Responding on X, Iran's foreign ministry spokesman dismissed Trump's remarks at the State of the Union as big lies. Meanwhile, Iran's parliament speaker said the US could either engage in diplomacy or face the wrath of Iran if it attacks. America has assembled its biggest deployment of aircraft and warships into the Middle East in decades in a push to get a deal. Meanwhile, Iranian state TV released on Tuesday a video showing the country's Revolutionary Guard holding a drill. The date and time of the exercise is unknown. The upcoming talks also come as Iran struggles at home with growing dissent following nationwide protests last month.
Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger offered a sharp contrast to President Trump's depiction of the nation as being in a golden age during his State of the Union last night. She argued costs remain high for many Americans more than a year into his second term and criticized his mass deportation methods.
Our president has sent poorly trained federal agents into our cities, where they have arrested and detained American citizens and people who aspire to be Americans. And they have done it without a warrant. They have ripped nursing mothers away from their babies. They have sent children, a little boy in a blue bunny hat, children to far-off detention centers.
Democrats point to Spanberger's double-digit victory in Virginia last November as validation of a disciplined, cost-focused campaign they now hope to replicate across the country. This is AP News.
AP Sports, I'm Gethin Coolbaugh. The Cavaliers pulled away in the second half for a 109-94 victory over the Knicks. Donovan Mitchell scored 23 points and James Harden had 20 for Coach Kenny Atkinson's team.
Bringing James on has given us a kind of renewed confidence.
Kason Wallace matched a career high with 27 points, and the Thunder earned their NBA best 45th win, 116-107 over the Raptors. College basketball, third-ranked Michigan clinched at least a share of its first Big Ten title since 2021 after beating Minnesota. Number 1 Duke and number 2 Arizona were also victorious. NFL, the Falcons informed quarterback Kirk Cousins they plan to release the 14-year veteran when free agency opens. The Raiders plan to keep disgruntled star edge rusher Max Crosby, and the Jets intend to keep 1,000-yard rusher Breece Hall.
I'm Marcela Sanchez, AP News.
This is 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now your WCPT 820 weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. We'll see mostly sunny skies here for today with a high into the mid-30s. Winds out of the northwest around 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting as high as 25. Then for tonight, partly cloudy with a low near 23. By Thursday, we'll see some sunshine, a high of 42 degrees. And Friday, plenty of blue skies and sun, a high of 59. Saturday, chance for rain and snow mixing late, a high around 40. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Currently, it's 28.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
Hi, this is Pat Hines, candidate for Cook County Assessor. I've spent 30 years working in property tax assessments, serving taxpayers like you. We need a Cook County Assessor who will give you reliable and on-time property tax bills. This job requires professionalism, not politics. I'm Pat Hines, candidate for Cook County Assessor. I ask for your vote on or before March 17th.
This ad was paid for by Hines for Assessor.
WCPT replay.
John Fugelsang. Listen, y'all, the dude wrote a book called Separation of Church and Hate. What a great title. Tell us a little bit what's happening in that space.
Well, and I'm so grateful to you and all the deeply attractive listeners of WCPT for supporting this book. So I wrote this book years ago about how to use the Bible for believers and atheists, because even if you don't believe in Jesus, if you're debating a right-wing Christian on any of the issues that divide us, Jesus is probably on your side, whether he's a literal figure or not. They don't care about the teachings of Jesus. They don't care about religious freedom. They don't give a damn what God tells you to do in the Bible. They care about conservative Christian power. That's it. Jesus' movement was all about humanity and all about humility. He was not about total right-wing domination of the school board.
Keep listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
This is WCPT